Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Who should the Avalanche start in goal? Because Billy Lindsay's like, Kemper, he got you there. Well, the last guy won the other guy won the last series. I don't think it's as open and shut as some people would think.
It's not. It's definitely not. I've always been a believer that you start your guy that got you there, and that would be Darcy Kemper. I went through this when it was Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner, or when it was Marc-Andre Fleury and Tristan Jarry. Or not Tristan Jarry, it would have been
Matt Murray.
I think of his name. Matt Murray.
Matt Murray.
Rod. It's, the veteran guy. You want to keep everybody's mindset good. You want to keep confidence high. Well, Pavel Francouz, his confidence is high. He knows he's the backup. So if he goes to the bench, it's not a demotion. That's his spot, right? If Darcy Kemper goes to the bench, you risk his confidence being shattered because he's supposed to be the guy.
You grown-ass man, suck it up. I'm not saying who they should go with. I don't know. You don't have to make that decision today. And we're going to get to the football stuff because it reminds me of the Alouettes coach, Kahari Jones, saying last week. He knew who his starting quarterback was going to be, but he's not telling anybody. And then he named it was Vernon Adams. So maybe the Avs know. Head coach Jared Bednar is not dumb. He's from Yorkton. So clearly he's not dumb. And he probably knows. He's just not saying.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of Patrick Roy are you? I'm an 11 out of 10. And the literal translation of Roy is king. Part of the reason I love him so much is that we are very similar. And my guess is the book on Patrick Roy would be very similar to what the book is on me. He's uncontrollable. My dad would be proud of that fact.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. We're coming in hot to a Flame Tech Football Friday. It's going to be big fun. But I can tell you that we're going to talk about probably at least 6-7 sports today, at least brush on them as we broadcast from South Florida, where the Dolphins are in the news, and they might be making an appearance in our Quick Six Show topics, but also the CFL is hot, hot, hot. We bring in from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, but also the heartland of the CFL, Darren Moose DuPont. Our guests today include the Calgary Stampeders. Oh, there's Moose just sitting down. Did you spill, Moose? We're on the air. What is this? Is this rehearsal? We're on. We're live. We're live.
Okay.
That's really weird. You look highly embarrassed right now. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You're just proving what my brother said once. What's great about your show is anything can happen at any time. Did you not know that we were going to air at noon Eastern?
Can happen.
Like every day for 776 shows? Did something catch you off guard there, Moose?
Might have, yeah.
What? Tell me.
What's that? What caught me off guard?
Tell me, what caught you off guard? Yes.
A phone call. A phone call. Business call.
Wait, we're cooking with gas. We're off to a great start. Okay, Mark Stevens going to be with us. Mark Steven, the voice of the Calgary Stampeders, is going to be with us. And also Duane Forde from the CFL on TSN coming up. He will be with us in hour 2. Can you fire the Quick Six show horn? Thank you. Let's start with the Canadian Football League. As Darren and I said prior to the show in our morning meeting, how much CFL we're going to talk? And Moose said, well, we're fans, so let's talk about it. And this goes in order of importance and interest to me. The first CFL game of the season is in the books. A Rennie Paradis field goal with 30 seconds to go gave the Stampeders a 30-27 victory over the Montreal Alouettes at McMahon Stadium on Thursday night. Kadeem Carey had a pair of touchdowns. The game kicked off the first full CFL schedule, if you can believe, in 3 years. And I want to look ahead, Darren, with that. It was a good game. There was lead changes. There was big plays. There was turnovers. Bo Levi got injured. I'm hoping when Mark Steven joins us later on this hour that he will give us an injury update on the star quarterback for the Calgary Stampeders. But 3-point game, you called it. I thought it would be at least a double-digit win for Calgary, and it wasn't. Were you sweating a little at the end? What did you think?
Well, it was tied, and Calgary was going up, and then Montreal tied. You're right. It was a little bit nervous at the end for those of us that kind of picked Montreal to cover the 3.5-point spread. But the hit that Bo Levi took and his ankle got hurt, he didn't look that bad. You knew he was a little sore going off. So I'm really optimistic it's not going to be a long-term thing. I don't know, and hopefully Mark will be able to answer that. But Jake Mayer came in, did his thing at the end of the game. I thought it was back and forth. Couple of Calgary Dinos in Jeshurun Antwi and Richie Sindani, the Regina kid, both had great games. And Vernon Adams Jr. threw for 250 yards. I think Montreal's going to be okay, but Calgary did what they needed to do.
Yeah, Richie Sindani, his first ever 100-yard Canadian Football League game, so proud of him for that. It was interesting watching the game, which I did on ESPN+. I was just kind of praying, if you will, for Trevor Harris to get in at some point, but he didn't. Dominic Davis came in short yardage for the Alouettes and actually scored a touchdown, I believe, in the football game. And it's just interesting, and I know you find this interesting, a lot of sports people do, and for sure the fans, how rosters are constructed. Calgary had to use 2 quarterbacks too, but the pay structure for those 2 quarterbacks is far different than what they're doing in Montreal. And you got Trevor Harris on the bench not doing anything, but you got a quarterback as a head coach in Kahari. Same as Calgary, I guess. But Trevor Harris doesn't get into the game. And so I'm seeing that as sort of the insurance policy I would think that the Alouettes are gambling on later on down the line. We're going to see Trevor Harris. He didn't sign to hold a clipboard, but we didn't see him last night.
I don't think, any team really, it's rare that a team will go through the regular season in the CFL without playing 2 quarterbacks at some point. Trevor Harris will see him, but clearly Kahari made the right choice. Vernon Adams Jr. did enough to keep him in the game, and probably enough he gave him a shot to win. He obviously didn't do enough for them to win, but he really outdueled Bo Levi. He had a great game, but just not quite enough. But I think Montreal's pretty happy right now that Vernon Adams can carry the load like this, and then they've got Trevor Harris waiting in the wings.
I'm going to sum this up on the attendance. My phone was blowing up last night with people's comments about the attendance, and I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the positive guy because the CFL owners and the executives are going, can we talk about the games? Can we not talk about the attendance? And for now, I'll sing from that hymn book. You're seeing, this is what I was hearing about all the unsold seats for the Saskatchewan game on Saturday. Price of gas is too much. COVID hangover. We're still mad about the vaccine policy. That's the Sask thing. For last night, people are saying, it was a Thursday game. Midweek games sucked. Hard to get there on time. I'm like, I don't know how many times we have to say it. If you want to go, you will go. If you don't want to go, you'll find an excuse. Put that on my gravestone, my tombstone, Moose, the tombstone that will be the height of the Empire State Building. My statement on that. As long as they're willing to pay $500 to $300 for Oilers tickets on a freaking Monday, don't. It's not about the night of the game, midweek. It's not about gas prices, not about COVID, not about anything. It's about whether you want to be there or whether you do not. And there's going to be in Vancouver, by the way, for Saturday night's game, the one that I hope I can stay awake for, because it's Chris Jones and Edmonton at BC, and you've picked the Elks to win that game. Now they're saying 35 to 40,000 fans. Be the largest crowd since 2014, and the infamous Dennis Skolsky guarantee, and I was there for it. Saskatchewan at BC. Remember the BC Lions president? He's not there anymore, but he got his knickers in a knot and guaranteed that the BC Lions were going to win the game. He was mad because the Riders put a billboard up across the street from his stadium. These typical presidents, right? And it was hell of a story. I think we won 20-16 in that game. And I remember after the game, reporters got their mics. You've heard the story a million times, but our viewers might not. Reporters have their mics in the face of the head coach of the Rough Riders, Corey Chairman. Did the guarantee factor into the motivation for the game, Coach Chairman? Did that have... There was a guarantee? What? The what? I didn't know there was a guarantee. And then the locker room drains. We got on the plane to come home, and the media goes into the locker room and sees that on every stall was photographed a picture of Skulski and his quote highlighted by Corey Chamberlain, who said he didn't even know about that guarantee. What? So anyways, almost a decade since they've had this big a crowd, Moose. So congratulations to the BC Lions and their fans for that.
It's going to be awesome. Going to be awesome. I hope it's loud, and I hope we get a great game. But, you know, in Calgary, when you get a game like that and a finish like that, and it's exciting, and Calgary wins, you hope that wakes up people in the city to say, look, this is something we want to come out and watch.
Jenna, watching in Southern California, says, good morning from Southern California. I'm feeling a win tonight. Let's go Red Blacks, with a red and black circle emojis. Wayne in Victoria says it's good for the CFL to have close games with lots of scoring and lead changes. I know the Stamps fans want total domination, but too bad for them. Hey, a win's a win. Snowman is checking in from Indiana. Morning, Snowman. Good to hear from you. People are writing in with beer prices. Hey, listen, it's what we do here. We get together every morning at noon, well, every afternoon at noon Eastern, 10 a.m. Mountain, have coffee and talk about sports. It is literally, officially the greatest job in the world. And that's just point one. Point two, the two-time defending Grey Cup champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers open their CFL season tonight when they host the Ottawa Red Blacks. Bombers quarterback Zach Collaros, the reigning CFL Most Outstanding Player and Grey Cup MVP, begins his 10th season. Got to be more seasons than that. But maybe not. Calgary Stampeders, as we mentioned, edged the Alouettes last night 30-27. I'm just reading the Wire copy. Call me Ron Burgundy. I just read what they put in front of me, Moose. But the spread on that one is 9.5. Bombers favored by 9.5. I think we both took that bet, did we not? We expect a double-digit shellacking tonight at IG Field. Am I right?
No, I picked Ottawa to cover, and Winnipeg will win. I think Winnipeg wins, but probably by a touchdown. I think it'll be a lot closer in week one.
Facebook is a wonderful thing. Will you please join me, Moose, and the viewers as well, if you wish, in a rendition of Happy Birthday for the president of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Wade Miller. It came up in my Facebook feed today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I guess.
Happy birthday, dear Wade. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Wade Miller will be celebrating his birthday by raising a banner tonight at IG Field. Second consecutive banner for his franchise. And I want all of Winnipeg to tell Wade, hey, Rod and Darren sang you happy birthday on the RP show today. People flood his phone, please. I know how that works. Yeah, you got something? You just laughed.
No, that was great. I just wonder what that sounded like on YouTube, because there's probably a second or two delay in our audio. I heard Jordan in our ear during it. I don't know what he said, but
I bet you I think it was Ryan. Doesn't matter. I'm sure it sounded fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, well, our NHL coverage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Big Avalanche fans over there. To schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services, call 306-781-2090 or visit us at broncoplumbing.com. That's our NHL coverage, which we're getting to, trust me. But let me just ask you this. I was reading up on this game tonight, Winnipeg and Ottawa, and how the Blue Bombers, Zach Collaros wanted to play, but they said, no, you're good. I guess Buck Pierce and Mike O'Shea conferred on it and said, you don't need, we're that good. I don't know if they said that specifically, but you know what I mean. I'll be tuned in tonight to see if they are that good. It's kind of unheard of to not have your starter take any reps in the preseason.
Took none. It is. It's bold, but the healthier quarterback is most important. What else does he have to prove? But it's not about Zach Collaros proving anything. It's about getting him into game shape and, taking those live bullets. You can't simulate it in practice as much as we try to. You can't. So that's, they might be a little slow to start offensively. I don't know. For me, too, brand new backfield. I mean, some familiar names that have been there before, but no Andrew Harris in the backfield. So there's going to be some changes to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we'll see what kind of group they have here tonight.
Checking in with the viewers, John Ohm, Rider fan living in Winnipeg. He's a Bomber fan when the Bombers are playing, but he says, I hear that the Riders are 5,000 short of a sellout. I thought there would be more tickets unsold. So I don't know what to say about that. But the lack of a sellout this far in advance of the home opener of a Grey Cup year, not good. Moving on to point 3. This is what I wanted to get into with you, and this may take us for the balance of the segment. Tom Brady concedes a lot has happened in the 4 months that have passed since he announced through social media that he was walking away from the NFL after 22 seasons. For now, though, he's back and just wrapped up the Buccaneers minicamp. He says he's just focused on helping the Bucs win another championship, but he spoke less candidly about whether he had discussions with the Miami Dolphins this spring about the prospect of moving to South Florida in some capacity, possibly as a part owner, player, or even both. Here's the quote, Darren. I don't know if you saw it. TB12 said, when asked about this, he goes, again, I had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, as I have for the last 3 or 4 years in my career, about different opportunities when I'm done playing football. I kind of made a decision about what I wanted to do, and I'll get to be in the game of football. I think for me, the most important thing is where I'm at now and what I hope to do for this team. That's been my commitment to this team and this organization. It's been so much fun for me to come here 2 years ago. It's been about 2.5 now, and it's been an incredible part of my football journey, and it's not over. So, as I told you on the phone this morning, Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, is he still on NBC, Florio, Sunday Night Football?
I think so.
Okay, so he was on Miami Sports Radio this morning talking about this, and he's like, Tom should be the commissioner when he's done because he didn't answer the question, but he didn't leave room for a follow-up question. Darren, when I tell you, and you gotta come down for a visit and spend some time here, they are obsessed with Tom Brady. They're obsessed with him. Everywhere you go, you hear it in the media, you hear it in the restaurants, you hear it on the beach. They love Tom Brady, and they want him to play for the Dolphins. And this is going to have to carry over to the next segment. I feel bad for Tua, their current quarterback, who's going into year 3 here, I believe. But the story was this. The owner of the Dolphins, Stephen Ross, wanted Brady so bad, they were going to give him a piece of the team, $20 million a year, orchestrate a trade with Miami, and hire Sean Payton as their head coach. This is what the owner wanted. In the meantime, Brian Flores had been fired, their coach, the last 3 seasons. He turned around and sued the Dolphins, claiming, the tanking allegations, the racism, and it muddled up the whole Brady thing. And I'm sitting there, again, driving down the freeway today going, looking at the radio, can't believe what's coming out of it. I'm like, how can Mike Florio report all this stuff? He's like, it was happening, folks. How about that?
I know. It's insane. It's insane. I know we got a break here, but I mean, for Tua to come out just last week and talk about the critics and the Twitter critics, and he's got to silence them. We didn't see all of that. And you know that if all this was going on, that Tua knew all this was going on. This was getting back to him too. So it's not just him saying he wants to silence the critics. It's him saying, look, you think you're going to take my job? You want to talk about this? You want to put me as an afterthought? He's going to want to go out now and prove that he's the guy. But it's a lot of distraction, a lot for Tua to take on.
So it's a Flame Tech Football Friday. We haven't even got to the hockey yet, and we will discuss that next. But yeah, here we are I guess they just wrapped up OTA/minicamp, so you can see why they're in the news, but it's all they talk about is the Dolphins. And when they're not talking about the Dolphins, it's college football. It's insane, especially if you love football. It's great. This is the warm-up. We're only a couple points through it. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is a Football Friday. RP Show continues. What a wonderful day. We're brought to you in part by Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. They specialize in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. And, of course, as always, brought to you in part by Taco Time. They're not tater tots. They're Mexi fries. And we can sprinkle in some viewer comments as we go if we want to bring the moose in. Mike Horrigan in Toronto's watching. He says, I bet the Dolphins are counting their blessings now that Deshaun Watson decided to take the Haslams to the train station instead. Arlen Bruce III says, Tua will be replaced by week 7. Watch. Oh, it's such a mess. And, you know, it's interesting, Darren. Robin in Prince Albert says, is there a point where Tom Brady will be a player/coach? Reggie Dunlop style? Who knows, man? Tom's going to have his pick. When he announced his retirement was it 2 weeks after the season last year, which lasted 41 days? Did any of us believe we would never hear from Tom Brady again? Like, I didn't think he'd come out of retirement and play, but I thought he'd go to the booth. I thought he'd get into ownership. I thought he'd be an analyst, something. And he's still playing now. But down the line, he'll do whatever the heck he wants to do.
Yeah, he will. He'll do whatever he wants to do. And it was interesting with the quote because he talked about after his playing days. So he danced around and didn't really talk about that he wanted to play with the Miami Dolphins. It was about after the playing days. But if playing with the Dolphins is what went along with him being an owner, he probably would have taken that. It's just, Tom is so good at that, at disarming everybody and just, answering the question but not committing. It was pretty good.
Randy from Winnipeg watching on Game Plus says, not sure why Cleveland got involved with Deshaun Watson. Did they not do their homework? Clearly not. And just, one more from Florio from ProFootballTalk.com. They're really talking about Deshaun Watson not playing this year. And I know we discussed this yesterday, but there's a group of females in New York now that have come after him legally for misconduct and harassment. Like, what kind of guy are we dealing with here right now? And for Browns fans, my gosh, I can name some of them. Friends of mine, Chris Moan, Kelly Bale. Guys, if you want to pick another team, nobody's going to hold it against you. Like, how could you cheer for this team, Darren, any longer if you're a long-suffering Browns fan?
I know. And the part of it, too, is that what I understand from what I've read from the insiders is there's no contingencies or there's no insurance policy on the trade. So if Deshaun Watson has more legal issues here, which we know that are coming, and he can't play, they release him, whatever, those draft picks don't go back to Cleveland. They stay in Houston. So Houston comes away with the ransom and all the picks and the compensation, and, Cleveland just ends up with the headache.
Oh, and here's another one. The NFL is in no rush, according, again, to Mike Florio from ProFootballTalk.com and NBC Football Night in America, to make a decision on whether Deshaun can play or not this year. This could go right up until training camp. Why am I getting interference in my headphones? Is that coming from your end, or is it coming from the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, I'm getting it too.
Okay. Must be Friday. Okay, back on point. Because I could go on this forever, but I won't. I said that we would talk hockey. Andre Palat, point 4, the Quick Six show topics here. Andre Palat scored his second goal of the game with 1:50 to go to break a tie and lead the Tampa Bay Lightning to a 3-1 victory over the New York Rangers Thursday night. The victory gives Tampa a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference Final. Brandon Hagel, the former Red Deer Rebel, added an empty netter with 59 seconds to go to seal the two-time defending champion Lightning's third straight win. I've not yet, and I clearly never will, Darren, master the art of watching two games at once. So I was watching the Stampeders and the Alouettes and thoroughly enjoying it, and I did not really flip over to the Stanley Cup playoff game. Now, wouldn't you know it, I wake up this morning and my phone's blowing up with comments about the hockey game, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I was watching the CFL. How much of the hockey game were you watching last night?
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of it last night. I was into it, and it was another good game, and the Rangers are right there too, but it just feels like Tampa has woken up and they've really taken the momentum back, and it almost feels when you watch it like it's inevitable, right? And that's a tough feeling as a hockey fan when you are a fan of the other team. For Rangers fans, that's awful tough. But we saw a little emotion at the end of the game too, like, right at the buzzer, we saw a little bit of the rough stuff happening in the corner. Yeah. Stamkos got into it. Like, there's starting to be a little bit of bad blood now, and now when you look forward to Game 6, you wonder if that's going to continue, and maybe that's what the Rangers need to do to find a way to extend the series.
Poll question today, Moose. For Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, Capital with dealerships across the prairies. Do you believe the NHL would like a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup? I feel like I've been wanting to tweet this poll for a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. Shoot, maybe a couple of years. Let me word it again. Do you believe the NHL would like a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup? 67% of respondents on Twitter saying no. The NHL doesn't want a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. I don't know where I sit on that. I don't even know right now what I would vote on that. Because when Gary Bettman came in the 90s, we were all following the CFL very closely. Came from the NBA office in New York. And his buddies, Bettman's buddies, said that Gary didn't know if a hockey puck was made out of chocolate, rubber, or if he could open it up, unscrew the lid. He didn't know anything about it. And he darn sure didn't know anything about the NHL in Canada. He didn't really like it. That's where the booing of Gary Bettman started, by the way, in the 90s. It was when the NHL draft was in Canada, and people booed him because he was anti-Canadian. But he's not stupid. I've been around Gary Bettman quite a bit. Nobody would say Gary Bettman's stupid. He figured it out, I want to say, about 10 years into his time. Now we got a helicopter going overhead. Can you hear that? What else is going to happen today? Anyways, he figured it out about about 10 years into his tenure that Canada butters the bread of the National Hockey League. At the time, there were 6 franchises in Canada. Now there's 7. And you must have seen the numbers. Some of our viewers that are far smarter than me can maybe text me the numbers, but it's like those 7 teams provide like 85% of the league's revenue. Those 7 Canadian teams, and I wouldn't be surprised. So I don't think Gary Bettman would have a problem with the NHL having a Canadian Stanley Cup champion. I would vote yes, the NHL wants it. How would you?
Yeah, I would think they do. It's been a long time since '93, and it's great when these other markets. I mean, obviously, you want to share that cup around. If it was up to the league, it would go to a different team every year, and it would cycle through all the teams, and you'd win every 32 years, and away you'd go. But that's not the case, and I'm sure they'd love one to come back to Canada and invigorate the market. But the market is always going to be there. Just like you'd like it to, you're happy that New York's relevant again, one of your largest markets, and you want Arizona to finally be something because of the large television audience that's there. And you liked it when LA was getting Hollywood involved in the game and they were winning. So there are things from a business perspective you'd like to see. And no, I don't think they're anti-Canadian.
Wouldn't you just like to spend a couple of days in a league off? Or at the very least, put a bug under the table in the conference room. And just see if all these wild theories have any credence to them or not. About
that in the dressing room of the referees, right? Pre-game, you want to bug the ref room pre-game, right?
Oh, listen. I don't need to ask if the refs have prejudices or discriminatory inklings, because I know that they do. I know. I have been friends with a lot of them over the years. I remember one time I was in a bar in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, called the Crushed Can, and I'm not going to say who the ref was, but I said, hey, do you guys have any preconceived notions or any ill will towards our ownership? And he took a swig of beer and goes, no. So I know that the refs do. I know that they do. It's the league office that I've never spent any time in. And you wouldn't really get a straight answer out of them anyways. Some other points before we break, and we'll bring in Mark Stephen, the voice of the Stampeders, and then more with Moose. I got a lot of points here. The Canadian men's soccer team put a dramatic week behind them with a decisive 4-0 win over Curacao to open their CONCACAF Nations League campaign. That was in Vancouver last night, so they actually played. The Blue Jays continue a 6-game road trip with the first of 3 contests against the Tigers in Detroit tonight. The Jays took 2 of 3 off Kansas City. They're 7.5 behind the Yankees for the division lead. Round 2 of the PGA's Canadian Open is underway at St. George's Golf Course in Toronto. Wyndham Clark, that's his name. Sounds like a hotel to me. Wyndham Clark fired a bogey-free 7-under 63 to lead after the first round. Mackenzie Hughes has an afternoon tee time. He was the top Canadian in round 1 at 4-under. In Game 4, the NBA Finals goes tonight in Boston with the Celtics holding a 2-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors. Boston favored by 4 tonight at Bet Regal. There's a lot of sports there. I'll get to the CEBL results later on, Moose, but that's a lot of talk. They're going into the weekend. There's a lot of topics covered there. What's the most interesting story for you? Have you been following the LIV Golf Tour since we talked about it the other day?
Yeah, I have. Round 2 is on, and, it's only a 3-round event, so got a lot of viewers. When I tuned in, I think they had around 50,000 people watching just on the YouTube feed. They stream on other platforms, too, so they're getting an audience. It's starting to grow. People are watching it. The golf's been good, so I'll continue to watch that. Next week, obviously, with Patrick Reed and Bryson DeChambeau joining the tour as well. But it's great that that there's still a ton of support and that the RBC Canadian Open is rolling, too, because we don't want to forget about that.
We got a couple moments in this segment, so I'll throw some viewer comments in here, and there's some good ones. David Ice is watching in Winnipeg, and he says, all hockey in Canada brings in $11 billion annually. Cool stat. Not what I'm saying, because Hockey Canada is a completely different entity than the National Hockey League. What does the CHL bring in? They got 60 teams. They got multi-million-dollar budgets. You can't factor all hockey in Canada brings this much towards the NHL's bottom line a year. I appreciate what you're saying. That's also not what I'm saying. Arlen Bruce III should be in the CFL Hall of Fame, writes in. He says, I enjoyed cheering for all the Canadian NHL teams. My favorite was the Edmonton Oilers out of the 7. It's going to be exciting next season. He goes, I don't have a favorite yet. Well, I think if you were living in Edmonton, it would be very hard to not cheer for the Edmonton Oilers. And I'll wrap this up, go to break and bring in Mark Stephen. But with regards to attendance in sports in Canada, because it's a completely different animal than America, don't blame gas prices. Don't blame what night the games are on. If people are going to be paying $3,000 for an Oilers ticket on a Monday night, then don't talk to me about CFL attendance. And then people get, they're different leagues, Rod. Damn right they are. Thank you for noticing. But they never used to be. That's the problem. So, Moose, we got a lot on the table today. I'll see you back here in hour 2.
You got it.
The voice of the Calgary Stampeders, Mark Stephen, joins us next, one day after their season-opening 30-27 victory over the Montreal Alouettes. You are watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network. We're also live on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio. Rolling now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's a Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech, your industry leaders in combustion services. South Florida, the place to be right now as far as NFL talk goes. And Tom Brady not denying that he almost became a Dolphin this past January. We're discussing that and more here on this Football Friday. But, of course, the CFL season opened, Thursday night. Rennie Paredes stroking a 38-yard field goal with 30 seconds to go. Gave the Calgary Stampeders a 30-27 season-opening victory over the Montreal Alouettes. We listened to a portion of it with Mark Stephen, the longest-serving play-by-play voice in the CFL. Mark joins us from AMCHQR 770 Calgary. There he is. Hey, Mark, I got to ask you, by the way, congrats on the win. With the Stamps down 10 points at halftime, do you ever get worried with these home deficits with the Calgary Stampeders that one day they're not going to be able to come back and win them?
Well, I guess there's always that chance, but their record is they will. And the record against Montreal is crazy. They play so many close games over the years. So I don't think 10 points, is all that huge a deficit to overcome. The issue is in the last couple minutes of the half, maybe the last 5 minutes, they really just, something happened. They just stopped playing at the level they were playing at. The offense in particular struggled. But no, I can't say I was worried, but it's better to be ahead than behind, but their record says that they've got a good shot at coming back. And like I say, 10 points isn't the end of the earth there.
No, for sure. And I think the Stamps fans watching right now, CFL fans in general, will want to know if you have any update on Bo Levi's status. He was unable to finish the game with what the coach said was a muscle, spasm or cramp.
Yeah, it's sort of a Charlie horse. They'll be on the field in about an hour and a bit, so we'll get a better update then. I could just say that he didn't leave the bench area during the game, so I would like to think that's a good sign, but we'll get more of the details because, it was a bit of a surprise. He doesn't run very much, and then one of the very few times he did, he got hurt. So we'll see. The bonus is they do have a long week this week. They have a 9-day week before they go to Hamilton, so I would like to think that will work in his favor, but I guess we're just going to get the details later on this morning and early this afternoon.
Coach Dave Dickinson saying afterwards that it was not a clean game in any of the three phases. What did you and your partner Greg Pedersen see from the booth?
Yeah, I would say that's fairly accurate. I mean, there were times when the offense seemed to go to sleep, seemed to be out of sync. The defense was pretty good overall through the course of the game, but then you flip it around. The Ls ripped off some huge plays, a big 55-yard pass, the 70-yard run. The special teams were quite good. The newcomer, the punter, was tremendous, a big 70-yard kick to welcome himself to McMahon Stadium. And Rennie Paredes continues to be as the most clutch kicker in recent CFL memory. So, I think the special teams were good. I can't say it was absolutely a perfect game. I think there's areas to fix up and clean up, but I guess it was just enough to get the job done. But you're right. They could have played better in all areas.
But, again, longest-serving play-by-play guy in the league, you know that good teams survive not perfect games and still win. And I look at that preseason for Calgary. You tell me if I'm wrong, but it's 78-13. They outscored the opponents, and you didn't even play your vets for much of it. To me, that was a statement. This is a pretty strong club.
I think that's it. The lineup against BC in the first game was everyone who was eligible to play. They didn't play a lot, everyone. The second one in Edmonton, though, they set up a lot of the guys that were not the presumed starters, guys that are earning spots, and a lot of the veterans sat. That was A, because they wanted to evaluate. B, they only had a 6-day week. So those were some of the things that went on there. It's just the way they played, not so much the scores. I understand that things happen, but the way they played, the offense, didn't have too many turnovers. They didn't have too many penalties, although they made up for lost time last night with a lot of penalties. But, they played pretty well, so I was quite impressed. I took away as much as you can from a preseason of a positive variety for the Stampeders.
Yeah, well, I got to ask you, and let's inject some juice here. I mentioned I listened to part of your game. I watched the TSN broadcast, and you won't be surprised, Mark, that Suter circled the 13 interceptions of Bo last year with his telestrator, and he's like, this is the number that's got them concerned, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys, you see this campaign of people dumping on Bo. I'm not saying Suter was, but people are. Yeah. I'm like, you're just riling him up. You're just motivating him. That's what I see. Am I right in that?
Where's this all coming from? Like, I don't get it. I'm with you. I see the same thing you do. There seems to be, to chop him down to size. Maybe he's just been way too successful for too many people, and they can't stomach success. I guess that's the only thing I can think of, because I'm with you. I've just detected that. There seems to be, and he did not play well in the time he played in the preseason. I acknowledge that. He could have been much better. But there were some problems, though. It wasn't all his doing. But how many people are ready to flush a Hall of Fame career down the you-know-what based on a poor quarter in the first preseason game? I was shocked. Now, does he have to play better? Yeah. Can he do better things? Was he absolutely top of his game last night? But I don't know. I take a look at that win percentage, and maybe it's time to acknowledge that he is one of the best. And I don't know who's trying to tear him apart, but it seems to be a never-ending career goal of some people.
Well, I could give you names. I'm not going to, but you know who they are just as well as I do. But Doug Flutie wasn't perfect. Damon Allen wasn't perfect. They would tell you that. Bo's not perfect, but he's got the winning percentage, as you say. And my thing is, if you're really worried about Bo and you don't want him to destroy you, pump him up. Make his head fat. Don't put a chip on his shoulder. That's the last thing you should want to do from what I've gathered about this guy.
Well, I'll flip it the other way, too, is all these people, and I see all these, analytics type stuff and everything like this. Are you trying to tell me John Hufnagel, Dave Dickinson, and Mark Mueller won't put in the best quarterback that's going to give him a chance to win? I mean, come on, cut the garbage. Yes, there's things you can slice his record if he's, come on, cut the garbage. But that's the way I see it.
Yeah,
anyway.
For sure. No, I
just can't imagine a certain
Yeah. Well, and
it's
the other thing
odd.
is I saw your photo on Facebook of Bo standing proudly at the podium the other day for his media availability, and he said, I feel amazing. And for his sake, and for that sake, I hope that this is not serious, and you're telling me that it's not serious. But as far as Jake Mayer goes, there's a guy that they can plug in at any time and win games.
Sure.
And that's got to be a good
Yeah,
feeling.
no, I agree. They've got the best 1-2 situation in the league as far as I am concerned. But Jake Mayer still is a young quarterback. Maybe he'll have a spectacular career once the chains come off and he becomes a starter either here or somewhere down the line. But they're in a pretty good shape. But like I say, if you want to sit around and second guess me or second guess others, go ahead. But don't sit here and second guess Hufnagel, Dickinson, and Mueller. The track record says they're above that.
Absolutely. And so they got the win despite not being perfect. You said 9 days off. What's week 2 hold for the Calgary Stampeders?
Well, it's a trip to Hamilton, which will be great for a lot of ways. Number one, they'll go down there and try to redeem themselves last year. They were really awful down there last year. That sent their record to 2-5, kind of the low water point. Off the field, though, it's going to be one of the great celebrations of both Calgary and the Stampeders, because they're combining 2 Hall of Fame induction classes, which for obvious reasons were postponed because of circumstances in Hamilton. And the class is going to be so heavy on Calgary and Stampeders. It's going to be pretty remarkable. I don't know how great it's going to be for people in Hamilton, but I'm going to have a great time with it, with people like Henry Burris, Nick Lewis, John Hufnagel, Will Johnson, Doug Mitchell, who's a part owner of the Stampeders, going in as a builder. I think I said Will Johnson. I hope I haven't missed anybody obvious. The point I'm trying to make is Greg Vavra, who's going in as an amateur football player for his time with the U of C, although coincidentally, he did play with the Stampeders. But it's pretty heavy Calgary, so it's going to be a pretty big celebration down there.
Well, I can say it now that the green goggles are off. They're not just the team of the decade. They're not just the team of the century. They're the team of the millennium. So they'll be suitably honored in Hamilton for that.
Yeah.
Mark, thanks for the time. Yeah. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the football.
Yeah, we'll be. Looking forward. Hamilton's a great city for football, and looking forward to going down there. Thanks for checking me out.
Outstanding. Mark Stephen, the voice of the Calgary Stampeders, joining us from Cowtown. We'll be right back with a sports update. We'll tell you what's going on in the CEBL. The NLL final is underway, by the way. Game 2 coming up Saturday night, and viewer takeover right after this. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, streaming live on YouTube. And, of course, you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Every kitchen is a restaurant-ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Forde. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Forde Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the RP Show. It is a Taco Time viewer takeover. But before we get to that, let me jump into a sports update on this Friday in the Canadian Elite Basketball League. I'm telling you, this league is shaking it up. The Guelph Nighthawks got their second win of the season Thursday night, 86-79 over the Ottawa Blackjacks on home court. Guelph now 2-3. Ottawa's fallen to 1-4, and they've already made a coaching change. Meanwhile, tonight, the Newfoundland Growlers travel to St. Catharines to take on the Niagara River Lions. That's this evening. The Growlers are still searching for their first franchise win after starting with 3 losses. The River Lions are third in the CEBL standings after having won 3 and lost 2. And the Hamilton Honey Badgers, coming off 3 straight wins, host the Saskatchewan Rattlers tonight. 7:30 Eastern at First Ontario Centre. The Honey Badgers are tied for first place in the CEBL at 4-1. Rattlers 2-2. Commissioner of the league, of course, is our great friend, Mike Moriali. To the NLL, you know, we talk about these leagues that, is anybody else talking about them? A National Lacrosse League champion could be crowned Saturday night in Denver, Colorado at the Loud House. There's no way around it. I'm reading from a news release. Unless the Colorado Mammoth win Game 2 of the NLL Finals in Ball Arena Saturday night, the NLL season will be over, and the Buffalo Bandits will be the winners of the NLL Cup for the first time since 2008. Game 2, best of 3, Saturday night. Buffalo leads Colorado 1-0. It's on ESPN Plus down here and on TSN up there. The sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday. And they got the big pregame party going on there tomorrow. I saw that on their social media. Ballers, pregame tailgate ahead of the Riders and Ticats. And also for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, where you'll never need to ask to have the CFL game put on. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. Okay, I'm going to jump into the comments. Take my life in my hands. The chat for the time that we have left in this segment, which is 2.5 minutes. And in television time, that is an eternity. From Billiam53 in the chat, because we are live streaming on YouTube. I tell our television audience that. You can also text me at 902-518-3033. Numbers on the screen. Billiam53 says, Duane Carter still suffering from that bad hangnail that's kept him out of training / practice / game since day one. Haters gonna hate, y'all. I really loved that last segment with Mark Steven, didn't you? Talking about Bo, he's like, where's this coming from? How are you trashing Bo? What? Duane Carter has given people a little more ammo than Bo, but Duane's still, as anybody will tell you, the most talented player in the Canadian Football League. Anybody will tell you that. I think Duane's 31 now. He is a close personal friend of mine. We've talked about the haters. I would love the chance to talk to Bo about it, but I still don't think he wants to talk to me. And I think he's doing fine. But one thing I've realized about being in South Florida, you reach a certain level of happiness in your life, there ain't nothing going to bother you. Last minute of play in hour 1. Last minute. Again, you reach a certain level of happiness in life, there ain't nothing that can bother you. But I'm not 31 like Duane. He's got to win a championship. I don't think he's got to play in the NFL to silence the doubters. I don't think you ever silence the doubters. I don't. We've done a pretty good job of it this week with our News with Game Plus. But you know what I'm getting at. They're going to hate on Duane, and he just can't allow that to happen. He does a pretty good job of not allowing it to happen. David in Winnipeg says a quarterback factory in the CFL is Calgary. No two ways about it. Going to be a lot of fun. Next hour, hour 2, Moose will be back with us, and Duane Forde from the CFL on TSN. Stick around here on Game Plus Television.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey
Ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445. Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of Patrick Roy are you? I'm an 11 out of 10, and the literal translation of Roy is king. Part of the reason I love him so much is that we are very similar, and my guess is the book on Patrick Roy would be very similar to what the book is on me. He's uncontrollable. My dad would be proud of that fact.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It's Hour 2 coming at you on Game Plus Television. I want to check in with our friends in Lethbridge, Alberta, who just turned us on. Not going to name you, but thanks for making us part of your day. Afternoon out here on the East Coast. Still morning out there in the West. As we bring in the Moose, Darren Moose Dupont. And what I can just sense, Moose, I can just sense it. This is going to be a very fun second hour, our final hour of the week as we ride into the weekend for what looks like a really great sports weekend, by the way. And it is a Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech, your industry leader in combustion services. We'll probably give a little bit of a Rough Rider Ticats preview. Lions Elks as well. But last hour, for those that missed it, Mark Stephen was on, the Hall of Fame voice of the Calgary Stampeders, wondering why all the Bo Levi hate, where it's coming from. Where's it coming from? And I'm like, oh, I can give you names, Mark. I can give you names, and we all know who they are. I just don't want to be that guy today. But why haters gotta hate, Darren? Is it simply hurting people hurt people? Is that
always
the genesis of this? Yeah, must be.
Always. People who are happy and content and in a great place don't lash out at other people. It just doesn't happen, ever. That's just human nature. But that's fine. We know that there's a lot of people, struggling or want to bring somebody else down. But you know what? Bo's going to do his best to try and shut them up. And he's 1-0. And, granted, he didn't finish the game, and we hope he's going to be okay. But it's, I don't know where the hate's coming from because he's still one of the best quarterbacks in Canada.
The best statistically, I believe. But, by the way, we had a fun little kibitz with this guy in the chat named Billy, and he's turned it to a complete troll job on Duran, so I'm not entertaining it anymore. He was asking where Duran is, and is he out with a hangnail? And I'm like, same thing. He's hurt his toe. Duran's a gamer, and I can tell you right now, it's a football Friday. We will get around to the hockey talk in a minute, but I was with a rider coach at an event we were doing, and Duran was there too. Yet another story that I've told on the air before that you've heard, but a lot of our new viewers will not know this. Duran Carter, close friend of mine, son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Chris Carter, and Duran was telling me how he doesn't work out. I actually said, this was around April, and I'm like, Duran, how is your off-season training gone? And you can just imagine the smile on his face. He's like, well, Rod, let me tell you something about my off-season training. I don't work out. I'm like, what? And he goes, no, I believe that your life has a finite amount of workouts in them, and I'm not going to waste them in my 20s. I plan to play until I'm 40, so when I need to work out in my 30s, that's when I'll work out. But for now, I don't work. Okay. So later that night, I'm at this event with the coach, and I said, listen, I don't want to rat on Duran because he's my guy, but did you know that he hasn't lifted a weight all winter? And the coach says to me, you don't think we know that? And he's still the best player in the league, and he still never gets hurt. Who are we to tell him what to do? But the interesting thing about Duran, and why I think he's turned over a new leaf coming back into this 2022 season after being out of the league last year, is he coached here just 23 miles up the road from me. He coached high school football. It's given him a completely new perspective on life. And I'm just telling you right now, I think this is why we haven't heard from Duran coming out of training camp. He's not the same Duran. That's why it sucks that he's not playing Saturday night because of a toe injury, because he wants to prove, Darren, a lot of people wrong. And you can only do that when you're on the field.
Yeah, you can. You have to be on the field to do it. And it's funny. I can only imagine Duran at training camp after being a coach, going up to his position coach, going up to Chris Jones. Coach Jones. I've been on your side now. I'm so sorry. I'm going to fall in line. I'm going to follow the drills. I ain't going to, I can only imagine how that conversation went.
Dude, it wouldn't take that. I mean, I had a friend of his. Watch your feet. I'm going to drop some names. James Wilder told me. Because, listen, if you know Duran, you love him, okay? Because I hated him before I met him, and then I met him, and I get him. Namaste. So James was telling me from a meeting with the Argos when Duran was there, Mark Trestman, one of the greatest offensive minds the game has ever seen, has his pointer on the board going over plays for that week, and Duran's in the back room. Coach, don't you think we should do this? And Wilder said Trestman just... And because the thing was, it was because Duran was right. And that's why I love Duran, is it's hard for us to bite our tongue when we know better. It's hard.
I know.
So anyways, on the Bo Levi thing, Gino DePauli's watching in Okotoks, Alberta, and he says Bo Levi might go down as one of the greats. There's Flutie, Moon, Calvillo, Allen, Lancaster, McManus, but could on the Mount Rushmore, the CFL quarterbacks, could he be on the Mount Rushmore CFL? There's one. We've done the CFL Mount Rushmore overall. You've done yours, I've done mine. And it was Lancaster, Buono, I want to say Damon, Lancaster, Buono, Damon Allen, and Warren Moon. And you did yours. But if you want to do a quarterback-only Mount Rushmore, I don't know. Bo's going in the Hall of Fame. If he never played another game, he's going into the Hall of Fame because, as we have learned, or I've deduced over the years, you only need to win 2 Grey Cups as a starter to get you into the Hall of Fame. He's got the all-time winning percentage, so he goes in. But all-time Mount Rushmore, I don't think so.
I don't know where you'd slot him in. For me, I start at the top with Doug Flutie, Warren Moon, and Anthony Calvillo. And pause on Anthony because he's behind any of those guys. Those are the 3. And then you got some debate. Damon Allen, probably the 4th for me. But there's a lot of guys who could be right there. Where does Bo fit in? I think if a little more longevity, and if he continues to do it, he'll probably wiggle his way in there.
Did I say Lancaster? If I didn't say Lancaster, shame on
You
me.
did.
Lancaster's
No,
on.
you did.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay. Couldn't remember if I did or not. Because there's only 4 spaces, you know? For the hockey fans that are viewing, and that guy in Lethbridge is a hockey guy, but he also is somewhat interested in the CFL. Our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, do you believe the NHL would like a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup? The results are narrowing a little more. I think the last that I saw on Twitter, it's like 55% are saying no. I should look up the latest. Capital Auto Mall, by the way, with dealerships all across the prairies, including Winnipeg, Regina, Calgary, and Edmonton. And, well, actually, on Twitter, it's holding steady at no. 75% of respondents say no, the NHL does not want a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. So we can bring the Moose back in. It was a fun little ditty to talk about, and we could kick this around for a lot of hour 2. Somebody said no, but they would like the Leafs to win. And I don't think any philosophy or conspiracy theory, I'll listen to them all. You think they want the Leafs to win, but nobody else? They might be onto something.
They might be onto something, but if they are, clearly it shows that there is no amount of conspiracy, fake calls, ice conditions, travel. There's nothing you can do to make them win a Stanley Cup. So if the league thinks they can interfere and make Toronto win a Stanley Cup, it's not happening.
That's funny. Phyllis is watching in Winnipeg, and she says 8 of 32 teams are in Canada, so that's 1/4 of the league. The stats indicate that the U.S. teams will likely win 75% of the Stanley Cups. Yes, but it's not based on that. I don't think I've ever used this line with you, Darren, but I will now. Statistics remind me of the guy that drowned in the river that had an average depth of 3 inches. You know what I mean? No. Yeah. You would think that he can't then. So it's been since 1993, and I get what you're saying. If there was a conspiracy, there's no conspiracy. Vancouver's been to Game 7. Calgary's been to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. The Oilers went to Game 6. No. The more I think about it, there's absolutely no way that the fix is in with the NHL with any of these series. To be honest with you, I can't remember who. Somebody, older people got to tell me who it was. There was a guy, it was a hockey fighter. He played for the Rangers, I think, like in the 70s or 80s. There was a thing going around that hockey fights were rigged. It was well before your time. But it was like a Don King boxing type thing, that it was the fix was in, hockey fights. And the guy said, if hockey fights were fixed, I'd be in more of them. They're not fixed. By the way, it's 1:11 Eastern, 1:11 Eastern. So we're on the right track. Adam in Hamilton writes in, he says, hey, Rod and Darren, Oski wee wee. I was in Montreal for the preseason game against Ottawa, my first game in Montreal, and it was a great finish. I'm grateful we're getting a full season this year. And it is a Flame Tech Football Friday. We've been discussing it the last couple of days. How much coverage should we give the CFL? And Darren's like, as much as we want. We're fans. I'm alumni, for God's sakes. So let's talk about it. I'm glad that the CFL's back. It's like that documentary we started watching last night on Netflix. What is it, the one on the Lakers, Winning Time?
Winning Time, yes.
Yeah. So Jerry Buss said when they were looking at drafting Magic Johnson out of Michigan State back in 1979, he's like, I don't care whether he's black, white, polka dot. He makes me feel good. Watching it makes me feel good. Remember that line? And I'm like, watching the CFL makes me feel good. So I don't care about the people that don't, or the people that buy tickets or don't buy tickets. It makes me feel good to watch and talk about the CFL. And wild ending last night. 38-yard field goal with 30 seconds to go for Calgary to beat Hamilton. To beat Montreal 30-27. Tonight it's Ottawa at Winnipeg. But we don't believe that every game's going to be back and forth, wild lead changes, and go down to the final minute. I mean, that was kind of a dream scenario for the season opener.
That's exactly what you want in a season opener. That is, the CFL in a nutshell. The wildest 3 minutes in sports, the final 3 minutes of the game. That's what you want. It's in doubt. They're making plays. They're moving the ball. It wasn't just, a tight game where nobody was doing anything. It was high scoring. It was perfect. It was awesome. And it was a great way to start the season.
Trying to keep it on football, knowing full on that we're a hockey country in Canada, and that's what they all want to talk about. So we'll go back and forth. Ambidextrous, as they say, because Takona Powley in Winnipeg, and I say this as respectfully as possible, reading his comment, he says, Rod, conspiracy. Again, the NHL has had it out for the Winnipeg Jets ever since losing the 1973 lawsuit to Winnipeg and the WHA. No. Winnipeg just hasn't been very good. Let's not forget about that. There's a conspiracy against us. These teams. No, you suck. I'm not saying the Jets, but there's just, it can't be our fault. Gino DePaoli goes on to say, winning time on HBO is unreal. But did it not make you yearn for Los Angeles Moose? Like the scenes, the scenery, oh man, it's such a dream place. This is better.
I know.
I believe South Florida's better, but LA's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And when they talk about the Forum and, I don't know if you're that far into it, but he's going to basically take over the Forum, Jerry Buses, and turn that into a business and have events in there every day. And it's super cool. And we were driving around there, in LA, and yeah, it does. It makes you miss it, and it's a cool place.
Well, yeah, what it did make me wish is that we had stopped in the Forum when we were there instead of walking around it.
Yeah.
Because the new stadium, the new home of the Rams and the Chargers, is like literally right across the street. Like not even a block away, a half a block away. And it was interesting talking to Kelly Rudy about that. And you were there in the room at Grey Eagle when he came down, and he was like, Rod, were you in L.A.? I'm like, yep. And he's like, where's that new stadium? Kind of ironic that the new stadium was on Prairie Avenue in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And as is the Inglewood Forum, and we're a bunch of Prairie boys sitting around talking about it. Craig in Calgary watching on Game Plus says, ever notice how many conspiracies involving sports in every league somehow revolves around the team you cheer for? Oh, yeah, I made a career out of it, is the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And by the way, we're going to break. There's a guy here today, Darren, when I say today, Chris. I don't want to say his last name, but we're gym buddies. See him every Friday at the gym. And this morning, we got talking, and he's just cool, man. Cooler than the other side of the pillow. And he's like, I really enjoy your show, man. He's got this northeastern sort of Boston accent. And he was the guy that said, how about those Estevan Bruins? I watch your podcast. He's always got the wink going. And he's I want to say he's the editor of like Business Weekly or something. And if Chris is watching right now, I apologize if I got it wrong, Chris. And I'm telling you, man, he's pretty cut up for a guy of his age. Really cut up, actually, for a guy of his age. But he said to me, he says, you were in the Canadian Football League, 20 years. Was it the Stampeders? I'm like, God, no! We're friends now. But I said, we're sworn enemies, man, for a generation. So they're following. They're following. We'll continue this when we come back on Flame Tech Football Friday. You're watching on Game Plus TV Network across all 10 provinces and 31 states, including the Sunshine State. Live streaming on YouTube, and you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
You Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show originating from South Florida, one half, and the other from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. For a while longer, and you can always write us. I want to get into the viewer comments here, Darren. I'll tell you, Fridays might be the most fun day because for everybody, week is over. We've talked about everything. And actually, in the break, I was like, let's get into some fake news, which I know you're here for, right? That's always fun. Because we've covered, I've covered, if you were listening to the sports, we've covered the Blue Jays, the NLL, the CEBL, the CFL, the NFL, NHL, and I've got people from Winnipeg writing me here about Bruce Cassidy. Let me start there, okay? The guy goes on Twitter by Winnipeg Jets Rob. He says, at Rod Pedersen, with the firing of Bruce Cassidy from Boston, where do you think he ends up? Major coaching carousel this year. Is this the year many teams go younger coaches with new mindset? Most coaches have a good resume, difference being longevity. In the end, all were let go. Well, that is, frankly, the misnomer. I'm actually glad that he brought this up. I know it's a Football Friday. I will say Bruce Cassidy will probably go where Barry Trotz doesn't. Trotz would appear to be the pick of the litter. Our poll yesterday, he won running away 78% of the vote. Barry Trotz is the best available coach. So Barry's going to pick what he wants. And who of the teams looking for coaches, by the way, Philadelphia, Dallas, Vegas, Winnipeg, Boston, who would you take out of that? If you had the pick of the litter, if you were Barry Trotz, knowing that he's a Dauphin, Manitoba boy, I could see him going to Winnipeg. That might be the best roster. And I don't think they care about where they live or the weather. I really don't. So I think Trotzy takes whatever job he wants. Bruce Cassidy picks up the scraps. And so I could see a Dallas, maybe Philly situation for Bruce Cassidy. NHL Network this morning, they were saying that Cassidy has had interest from several teams. Well, of course he's going to say that. That's his agent talking. But how would you answer that question?
I think Vegas is an interesting market. It's probably the best roster available. Stanley Cup ready. They're a contender today for a Stanley Cup, but it's a very volatile work situation, right? I mean, there's no stability there. You're worried that, one season not winning the cup and you might be gone. So Barry Trotz may want to go there if he wants to win, but he may not go there if he wants to make this a long-term home, right? So Winnipeg makes sense too. Dallas has a good roster and will compete. They got a great young goaltender, so there's another situation. Boston, we don't know what we have yet. Great veterans, got some good pieces. Obviously, they're coming off a 107-point season, but are they on the upswing or are they on the downswing? And that'll depend. So I think Bruce Cassidy, Barry Trotz will go to teams not looking to rebuild. They'll be going to teams ready to win now, like maybe Dallas, Vegas, or Winnipeg.
Isn't that interesting, that whole thing where taking your power back or giving it away? Barry Trotz has the power. I mean, Jamie Thomas was on here the other day, Jets radio broadcaster. Basically, I felt like he said the Jets want Barry Trotz, but they also would like to make an announcement soon. But Trotz, this is on his time, and Barry's agent's a pretty good friend of mine, and he ain't tipping his hand in any regard. I talk to him almost every day, and we'll decide when it's time. Good for them. I think it's awesome because most times the teams have you by the balls. Barry Trotz has them by the balls. I think it's great. Sean in Vancouver, Vancouver, he writes in on the 902 line, 902-518-3033. Happy Football Friday. I thought both offensive lines did a great job last night. Shout out to the big Hoggies. He's talking about Thursday Night Football. Stampeders beating the Alouettes 30-27. It was a good game, and that way, Glenn Suter was noticed that. He singled out the play of the offensive line and their tremendous blocking. Craig in Calgary, regarding CFL attendance, or I think attendance in sports in general, he says, attendance is attendance. It's just the way it is these days, and the way it has been for maybe the past 7 years. What I wonder is, if all of the people that claim to love the CFL but continue to crap on the league and its broadcaster actually make the effort to buy tickets, read online stories, and download the apps, that's how fandom works and how the league knows people care. Not bitching to a sports show. And it's in my commentary today. I opened the show talking about it last hour. I don't want to get into the attendance. The CFL clearly isn't going to die. I don't know what it has running through its veins, but the CFL ain't going to die. So it's like talking about the Arizona Coyotes or these Marlins down the road where you wouldn't even know that Miami's got a Major League Baseball team. Nobody talks about them. Nobody goes to the games. But they're there. So the difference for the CFL is I like the toxicity and the negativity I saw on Twitter last night. I put my phone away. I'm like, this isn't positive. This isn't fun. Doesn't make me feel good. So you're either going to buy a ticket and go to the game or you're not. Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says, isn't it interesting, Roddy, how Edmonton and BC are packing the place in the preseason or game one? Why is that? Marketing? Can't be. Darren, I did read an article featuring the owner of the BC Lions, Amar Doman, and he said biggest reason for this surge in ticket sales, 35,000 to 40,000 they're expecting tomorrow night, is local ownership. He goes, I couldn't run a team in Montreal. I'm a Vancouver guy running a Vancouver team. I think he's just being humble. There's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. I mean, I don't know what Amar Doman's doing, but I look at a guy like Gary Peters in Saskatoon, right? The former NHL player.
I keep hearing his name. Yeah, I've never met him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great community guy. And he runs a golf tournament and a really successful dinner with the biggest names in hockey every year. And he doesn't market the tournament. I said, Gary, how do you do this? You must put posters up. You must do radio ads. He's like, nope. He's like, I go to every business in town and I get them each to buy a table. I go on the ground and I go to everyone door to door because they all know him, right? So if Amar Doman can walk into businesses and walk into schools and walk into these community places in Vancouver and say, buy 100 tickets, buy 50 tickets, buy 10 tickets, right? You can sell some tickets pretty fast. So I do like that. I don't know that that's what he's doing, but I do see the local angle.
Well, he's visible and he's cool. That helps. There's something to do with branding. Amar Doman has a great brand himself. Victor Cui has a tremendous brand, and some of these guys running the CFL, they don't have a brand. They don't want a brand. They want to sit in the back room and call the shots, but you need to get out like these guys are doing and be visible. I guess that's part of the reason, and I think MR is just being humble. Metal Shingle Guy has found us on the 902 line. He was complaining, which is fine, that the Listen Live feed is no more. But we knew that he'd find us on YouTube, and he has. He says, I was impressed with the Calgary game. Nice to see Bo throwing with some zip. Not sure, but I think he was about 50% or so with a touchdown and a pick before he got hurt. I think he was 211, a touchdown and a pick. If I saw the liner, I thought both him and VA were drilling the ball down there. I'm like, holy smokes, guys. Tone it down. Clearly, training camp didn't take anything out of those guys' arms. It was hard to catch for some of those. Although, wonderful touch on the ball shown by VA on that 55-yard gainer to Eugene Lewis. It was an exciting game. I put it, why do we need to compare? It's a thing about football versus hockey. I don't know why we always got to compare, but it was better than the USFL games I've seen. And by the way, Kenny Gill is watching in Scranton, Pennsylvania right now. He writes in and says, hello, Rod and Darren. That game last night was better than any regular season CFL game all last year. A full camp and preseason games make a huge difference. Also a lot better than any USFL game this year as well. Looking forward to the rest of week 1. Yeah, having the practice time, having the preseason games, that's all part of it. Now, you're more of a football guy than me. They say that football is like, it's one big dance, choreographed dance. But your Titans missed some weeks of practice a couple years ago and went out and kicked the crap out of their opponents. So kind of made me think that maybe it's a little overstated. Agree or disagree? That was the
Buffalo Bills, and maybe a little overstated. I mean, you can get to work and put a product on the field pretty quickly. You're still going to have a camp. Even in a shortened season, they had a little bit of a camp and got moving. But for whatever reason, the games are really entertaining to start. The game has been really entertaining to start. We'll see if the rest of the week follows, but we're off to a good start.
It's one game. Thank you for the pump the brakes, as they say. But it is a good start, and kudos to them for that.
Yes.
Ward in Winnipeg writes in. He says, hey, Rod and gang, Bombers going to beat up on some Lumberjacks tonight. Beautiful weather, too, plus 26 Celsius. Signed, Ward in Bomberland. And he's got blue bomb emojis, football, and the cup. Should have had 2 cups. You should have been watching last hour when we sang happy birthday to your team president, Wade Miller. Do you think it's got back to Wade that we were singing happy birthday to him?
I hope so.
I
hope so.
I'll Facebook him. Larry Dye in Medicine Hat writes in. He says, I love the Stampeders uniforms, but for some reason I crave KFC after the game. Right? KFC doesn't sponsor us. There's been 2 instances here that there's been an ambulance, back doors open, lights going, somebody being wheeled into the ambulance right in front of a KFC. Almost stopped and took a picture. Twice! Adam.
Unbelievable.
In Hamilton. Adam in Hamilton. Oh, he has sent a photo of himself at the game. Hey, Rod, here we are at the game. And we don't have producer Clark to pull the photo off the text line. That's too bad. It's a photo of Adam at Montreal, as he said. Well, you can do it? What?
No, well, I think I could do it, but it's probably, I'll tease you, it's going to probably end up on our social media feeds later today.
Okay. It's on the 902 text line. Oh, you like that, eh? Send us your CFL fan pics.
I love it.
Why not? Look at us. Look at us, the CFL Good Guy Squad. From Daryl Paquette. He's watching on Game Plus TV in Sherwood Park, Alberta, the home of Sam Steele. He says, "Go, Elks, go." Arbuckle will light up the Lions on Saturday. Fear the deer. What has you so bullish on the Elks winning Saturday night, by the way, at BC? Because have you not heard? Nathan Rourke is the talk of the league, the quarterback for BC.
I know. What are you going to call it? It's Nathan Rourke and Michael O'Connor. You had the Canadian Air Force in Saskatchewan, the receiving corps. What's that Canadian quarterback going to be? Bob and Doug? Or what are we going to call them?
Dude, whoa. Did you just make a Hosers reference?
Yeah.
That was literally in my head.
Was it?
I almost said, yes. Serious man. Anyways, continue.
I don't know, man. The wavelength. But I don't even know what I was going to say. Nick Arbuckle. That's why. Yes, I got excited at that 1 week of the preseason. He lit it up. But we're waiting for him to take a huge step forward and become the guy. He's the guy in Edmonton. And I think he might be a guy who jumps off the page as a MOP candidate in the CFL. So if you have a quarterback that can do that, you're going to be very successful. So if Nick Arbuckle plays well, they'll win.
Nick Fatty Arbuckle, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the CFL. A quick text before you run. Tiny Tim writing is from Abbotsford, BC. He says the ticket prices for the Lions, and I imagine the rest of the CFL, are too expensive. Cheapest Lions ticket is $68. $68. Because I can't convince any one of my friends to go, and I'm the age demographic that they want at the games. It's crazy. That from Tiny Tim. But Adam and Hamilton, we got the shot. Adam from Hamilton sent this photo. It's them at the game in Montreal. So can I say this? If you go to a CFL game and take a shot, we'll put it on the air? How about that?
Yeah. Send us your photos.
So Tiny Tim,
text line.
Yeah. I get it. There's the number, 902-518-3033. Moose, we'll see you for overtime.
You bet.
Duane Forde joins us next from the CFL on TSN Crew. You're watching a Flame Tech Football Friday on the Game Plus television network, YouTube live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is the RP Show. It is a Football Friday for Flame Tech, your industry leader in combustion services. I'm telling you, it's the golf capital down here. It's the fishing capital. It's the football capital. Tom Brady is all the rage, not denying that he almost became a Dolphin in January. We'll talk about that a little more later in overtime. We're talking CFL now. What a wonderful opening night. 30-27. Calgary beat Montreal at McMahon last night. This guy was not on the call, but Duane Forde will have a call this weekend. I know it from the CFL on TSN. How you doing, Forde? Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Pedersen.
Which game can I look forward to you calling on ESPN Plus down here this weekend in week 1?
I've got a couple this week, so I'm starting Friday night. I've got Ottawa in Winnipeg, so I'm in the Peg right now, and then heading to Vancouver for the Elks versus Lions, big West Division match.
That might be the one that I'm the most interested in, but let's go through it all if you don't mind, because I know you love the talk. Sure. You couldn't have had a better season opening game than the one last night in McMahon, do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, I wish I could tell you more about it other than the score, as I actually found myself with a 5-hour flight delay out of Toronto getting to Winnipeg. Oh. So I literally spent the entire game, pretty much the entire game, actually sitting on the tarmac in Toronto next to a 300-pound man as I was crammed in my middle seat. So I think you probably had a better experience with the game than I did, but I was certainly keeping track of it on CFL.ca.
Yeah, it was awesome. Lead changes, big plays. It had everything that you want. Some controversy with Bo coming out, but I think he's going to be fine. And then this one tonight, I'm interested in what you expect. Winnipeg, home to Ottawa. They're going to raise a banner on Wade Miller's birthday, by the way. Bombers favored by 9.5. Do you expect a blowout?
No, I don't, actually. And part of that has to do with the timing in the season. Obviously, it's early, and both teams are going to be figuring some things out. And just not being that familiar with each other, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And so I think that creates some challenges, certainly. I think that Ottawa, as the team that has changed more, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, I think Ottawa has more of an opportunity to be familiar with what Winnipeg is doing than Winnipeg has in order to be prepared for what Ottawa may throw at them coming out. So, yeah, I mean, certainly you see the Bombers as a favorite. They're the defending Grey Cup champions. They have that continuity going not just from last year, but largely over the last couple of years. Some key changes, of course. But when you look at the changes that Ottawa has made, I think everybody from an Ottawa perspective has to be kind of excited about what the potential of that team is going forward.
That's the thing. Tonight it's the unknown, but I got it with Masoli and company. But I got to ask you, with Zach not taking a snap in the preseason games, this is a radical change of the way CFL business has been done in the preseason since I've been following the league, covering it since '91. How do you feel that Zach did not play at all in the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, this has become a little bit of the way of the league in recent years. And I'm with you. Obviously, my first year in the league was 1991, and it was very formulaic for a number of years where you saw, I mean, preseason game number one, typically the starters would play about a quarter, veteran guys. Preseason game number two, starters would typically play about a half, whether it was the first half or the second half, depended largely on the coach and on the team. But that was pretty much true across the league. And now I think we've seen, especially at the quarterback position with veteran guys, you're seeing teams that I would say are more concerned with making sure that they are healthy to start the season than making sure that people are in rhythm and have had a lot of reps. And, you know, training camps have become a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker, less contact, less demanding, and so on, labor issues aside. And so things have changed a little bit that I would say that, yeah, teams really with some of their veteran guys, and again, especially at that quarterback position, if you have guys that have been in the system and kind of know the system, then we're not going to take chances with them in the preseason. We anticipate them being ready to go when the lights come on for real.
Probably a wise move. Again, another thing to be watching for tonight. Can't wait. ESPN Plus is down here. TSN in Canada, of course. We got time for a preview of both Saturday games, if you don't mind. Riders, Ticats. It's the narrowest spread. 2.5 Riders are favored. I'm not going to ask you whether you're taking the bet or not, but pretty salacious matchup. Some calling it a Grey Cup preview. What do you think?
Yeah, there's certainly that potential. Obviously, when you look at Saskatchewan, and particularly with Cody Fajardo at quarterback, and having Duke Williams for a full season to help bolster that receiving group. Collectively, I think a group that is very easy to be excited about. And obviously, we know that with Regina hosting the Grey Cup, and think back to 2013, that there's going to be a push to do whatever they need to do to get that team there. If moves need to be made during the season and so on, that they're going to be aggressive in making that happen, recognizing what the benefits are to that and what that means for the province of Saskatchewan. And obviously Hamilton, back-to-back defending East Division champions. They've been to Grey Cup a couple times in a row. Dane Evans starting both of those games under different circumstances, of course. But again, a team that has had a lot of continuity over the last couple of years, and hopes remain high. I'm one of those guys, when you look both at Winnipeg and Hamilton, people will ask about favorites coming in. I subscribe to the old Ric Flair theory that in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. And so you've got to upset the defending champs, I think, in each of the divisions for anybody else to become that favorite. But Saskatchewan certainly a very serious contender in the West.
And I envy you, Forde, about the BC game, because they're saying the largest crowd since 2014, since the infamous Dennis Skulski guarantee. I was there. They're saying that night, 35,000 to 40,000 Saturday night with Chris Jones riding into town. You got the Nathan Rourke story. These are two teams that are picked by everybody to miss the playoffs. Why am I so excited about this game?
I think there's lots to be excited about. I mean, there is that element of the unknown that you talk about. I mean, Chris Jones, for my money, is the most creative guy in the Canadian Football League. And so for as much as you might think Chris Jones and you know what you're going to get, there are going to be surprises and you have absolutely no idea. And then on the other side, obviously, people have talked a lot about the Nathan Rourke storyline, the Canadian quarterback, and the hope that goes along with that. For me, Nathan Rourke is a guy who, when you look at his college resume, you look at his body of work, you look at what he's done in a small sample size in the Canadian Football League. Never mind the Canadian thing. This is a quarterback about whom we can all be excited in this league. And so to see him get a very good test against a Chris Jones defense in week one, I think that in and of itself is particularly exciting. But just the hope that I think that exists for both of these teams. I mean, the predictions, I'm not a big prediction guy preseason means nothing. I keep saying this is why we play the games. I don't care who's listed in the top 50 players. I don't care about the power rankings. Let's play the games and find out who's actually the best, not who everybody says is the best.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's finally here. Doubleheader Saturday, must-see TV, but tonight's going to be a doozy as well. Forde, thanks for the time. Always enjoy it. I'll be watching tonight. Break a leg. Thanks for the time.
Hey, my pleasure. Stay out of trouble down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Not much worry these days. CFL on TSN's Duane Forde joining us from Winnipeg. You'll have the call. Bombers and Red Blacks tonight on TSN. Taco time, viewer takeover is next. Whatever you'd like to talk about to put a punctuation mark on today's fantastic show, that's next. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is Taco Time Viewer Takeover. Before we bring the Moose in for the final segment of the week, a sports update. The Toronto Blue Jays continue a 6-game road trip with the first of 3 contests against the Tigers. In Detroit tonight, the Jays took 2 of 3 off Kansas City this week. Tigers recently ended a 7-game skid by sweeping a 2-game set at Pittsburgh this week. Phillies interim manager Rob Thompson tries to extend his unbeaten run when Arizona visits Citizens Bank Park tonight. The Canadian is 6-0 since taking over after manager Joe Girardi was fired last week. The Elias Sports Bureau says Thompson is off to the best start by a first-time Major League skipper since Boston's Joe Morgan won his first 12 games back in 1988. Round 2 of the PGA Tour's Canadian Open is underway at St. George's Golf Course in Toronto. Wyndham Clark fired a bogey-free 7-under 63 to lead after the first round. And Game 4 of the NBA Finals goes tonight in Boston. Celtics leading Golden State 2-1. Celts favored by 4 tonight. This sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, now with 8 amazing flavors, order yours today at g2gbars.ca. Okay, let's bring in the Moose for the final segment. And, man, I wanted to talk more about Brady and the Dolphins and the talk and everything, but I just want to thank all my good CFL buddies for coming on today. 2 of my close CFL buddies, Mark Steven and Duane Forde. Those were some great chats. Yeah. What are you taking into the weekend, Moose?
You know, a renewed optimism about the CFL, which I think is awesome. You know, these guys talking about the league and getting excited for the weekend, the great game we had last night. I think that's fun and refreshing, and I hope we can take that into the weekend and just be fans of the league, which you and I are, and that's what I love. So I'm into that. You know, I'm still so into the NHL playoffs. So day off tonight, obviously, but they'll play again on the weekend. So I'm really into that, and yeah, it's just been a great Friday.
Well, it's interesting because the WHL final could end on Saturday. Game 5 will be at Rogers Place. The Oil Kings have a 3-1 series lead, and I don't know, I'm quite enjoying the June hockey. And I don't just mean the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean the WHL final, the OHL final, the Q final are underway, and the Memorial Cup doesn't start for another 10 days or so, or at least another week in St. John. I like the hockey in the summer, but I mean, don't get too attached. This is still a COVID thing. I mean, we're going to go back to normal here next season, I would think, but I don't mind the hockey in the summer. But that's just me. That's just me. You don't get football year-round like this. Yeah, I know. The hockey's good. Are you following any hockey besides the Stanley Cup playoff?
Of course. I'm following junior hockey like crazy, and one of the greatest things is it's on my TV, too, so I can watch the games. I love it. I've been watching that, both the Q, actually, because the Q games come on a little bit earlier, and then you get the dub final a little bit later. So I've been watching them both. It's been a lot of fun. So I hope Seattle can extend the series a little bit against Edmonton.
Well, I'll tell you what. This would be, I'm not sure that it would be a show for here. Maybe it would be like the Rod Pedersen show. Maybe it's a summit. Maybe it's a big Zoom call. But just how things have changed. By the way, that Tiny Tim in Abbotsford, he said he's not going because he'll pay the $68 to go to a Lions game, but he can't get any of his buddies to. I told him that I read it on air, your message. He wrote me back, and he says, thanks, buddy. I saw it on TV on Game Plus. He goes, I feel like the CFL needs to lower ticket prices to create quantity of people entering the stadium rather than admitting that no one wants to go as they raise prices to recoup money. They need to drill the support local and partner with breweries and create a party environment that simultaneously creates a fantastic playing environment. Hey, listen, I agree. He is reading from the same hymn book that we've been preaching here for ages. But this is my point where the summit comes from. The Memorial Cup, for years, was just a beehive. It was just like the who's who was there, man. It was like the who's who. And in 2001 in Regina, I mean, I was working morning, noon, and night. I didn't even really enjoy it. It was 11 straight days. Whatever. It was my dream, but I didn't get out to really see anybody. I was buried by working, which is fine. It comes back in 2018, and it was nothing like it was in 2001. Not a lot of the scouts were there. None of the, well, there were scouts there from every team, but the GMs weren't there, like the NHL GMs. Not all of the hockey people from across the country were there. The games weren't sold out. I'm like, what happened? What happened within the last 17 years? And with Craig Button on here earlier this week, he's like, I'm not going to the Memorial Cup because they don't have the prospects playing. It's not like it was. But my point, nothing's like what it used to be. And I'm not going to be that old fart and say things aren't like they used to be. But they aren't. But what's fascinating is watching Amar Doman with the BC Lions and Victor Cui with the Edmonton Elks like literally grab sports in those towns by the scruff of the neck and rescue them out of the fire. That's what I see happening, and it's cool as hell, man.
Super cool. It's so cool. And, you know, in the marketing debate, it really depends on what your goals are. We don't often look at what our goals are and what we're trying to accomplish, right? If the goal is to make money, soak your fans for as much as you can get and try and maximize profits. And that's cool, too. That's a business goal. But sometimes it's about creating hype and capitalizing financially later. And the league in those markets are doing a great job at getting some hype going.
Yeah, well, those CFL people didn't like hype. They didn't like buzz. When I was stirring stuff up, my God, I had took 40 lashes. That's why I don't ever want to go back into that league anymore. Last minute of play in hour one. Maybe it's changing, but look at the Dolphins. What have they been talking about for days on NFL, on Sports Talk Radio Miami, is Tom Brady maybe coming to the Dolphins. They don't care that it might hurt Tua's feelings. It sells tickets. It gets buzz. But they haven't wanted that in the CFL. They've been allergic to that for years. And maybe it's coming back. If it is, good for them, because I'm not going to be part of it. By the way, Metal Shingle Guy writes in, wants you to know for some reason that the Weyburn KFC buffet is open again.
I got to build myself up. Maybe I'll go back. I don't know. We'll see. I'd be willing. Give it another shot.
It's a fantastic place. He just got a shot of, something bad that day. Moose, great show. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too.
See the rest of you people Monday at noon Eastern here in the RP.
Nerds! Nerds! Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.